What if I told you that the fastest growing region of the 21st century is not America, not Asia, not Europe, but Africa? For decades, Africa was sold to the world through a single lens: poverty, instability, conflict, and underdevelopment. But that story is outdated because quietly, steadily, and powerfully, Africa is rising. Today, global powers are racing to invest. Corporations are expanding. Startups are exploding. And a demographic revolution is underway. Africa is no longer waiting for the future. Africa is becoming the future. Let me explain why. Africa is home to 1.4 billion people, and more than 60% of them are under the age of 25. This makes Africa the youngest continent on the earth. And youth is not just a number. Youth means workers, youth means innovation, youth means consumers, entrepreneurs, taxpayers, and creators. While countries like Japan, South Korea, China, and even Europe are facing population decline and aging societies, Africa is doing the opposite. It is growing, it's energetic, it is full of ambition. By 2050, Africa's population is expected to reach 2.5 billion people. That means the largest workforce the world has ever seen, and also the largest consumer market. This is why companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, and Samsung are expanding across African nations today. They understand something many people still did not. Africa will supply the world's labor, ideas, and markets in decades to come. But Africa's strength does not stop with the people. Beneath African soil lies trillions of dollars worth of natural resources. Africa holds nearly 80% of world's platinum, around 60% of global cobalt, 40% of gold, 30% of diamonds, and massive reserves of copper, lithium, and rare earth minerals. Cobalt and lithium are essential for electric vehicles, batteries, and renewable energy. In many ways, Africa is the battery of the modern world. Africa is also rich in oil and gas, with countries like Nigeria, Angola, Algeria, and Libya holding enormous reserves. And when it comes to agriculture, Africa owns over 60% of the world's unusable land. Africa does not just have the resources to grow, Africa has the resources to feed the world. And that is why the world is paying attention. China invests heavily in mining and infrastructure. The United States focuses on energy, defenses, and technology. Europe looks toward trade and security. India partners through pharmaceuticals, education, and trading. The Middle East provides funding and logistics. Africa has become the center of global competition. But here is the most powerful part of Africa's story. Africa is not repeating the mistakes of the past. Africa is leapfrogging directly into the future. Instead of landlines, Africa went straight to mobile phones. Instead of traditional banking, Africa built mobile money. Long before UPI became popular, Kenya's M-Pesa transformed how people sent, saved, and spent money. Today, millions of Africans use mobile money daily, even in mobile in even in remote villages. Across the continent, tech adoption is exploding. Africa now has 700 plus tech hubs, over 5,000 startups, rapid digital banking growth, booming e-commerce, cheap smartphones, and one of the fastest mobile internet adoption rates in the world. Countries like Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt are emerging as AI and innovation hubs. Global tech giants are investing billions. Google has launched cloud regions. Amazon is expanding AWS. Microsoft is building massive data centers. Starlink is bringing internet to rural Africa. Africa is not building a traditional economy fast. Africa is becoming a digital fast economy. And then comes infrastructure. China has made the biggest bet on Africa in modern history. Over $150 billion in infrastructure projects. Railways, highways, ports, airports, power grids, and industrial zones are transforming the continent. From Kenya's Standard Gauge Railway to the Ethiopia Djibouti Railway to Angola's national power upgrades. China's strategy is simple: build now, influence later. This has forced the United States, Europe, India, and Japan to respond with their own investments. Africa is no longer ignored. Africa is the geopolitical battleground of the future. And as infrastructure grows, so does prosperity. Africa's middle class is expanding rapidly. Cities are growing, incomes are rising, demand for smartphones, housing, transport, education, and consumer goods is exploding. By 2030, Africa's consumer spending is expected to reach $1.7 trillion. That is why global brands like Coca-Cola, Nestle, Hyundai, Samsung, and Google are aggressively expanding across African markets. Africa is becoming the next major consumer economy. But this story is not perfect. Africa still faces serious challenges: political instability in some regions, corruption, weak healthcare systems, education gaps, over-dependence on commodity exports, infrastructure delays. These problems are real, but something has changed. Africa's new generation is educated, connected, ambitious, and entrepreneurial. They're solving faster, they're solving problems faster than the world expected. And that is why Africa's growth is no longer a prediction. It is happening. Africa has the youth, Africa has the resources, Africa has technology adoption, Africa has the market, Africa has global investment. The 21st century began with China's rise. The next phase may very well belong to Africa. The only question is, will the world realize it before it is too late?